In 1916, Congress passed Public Law 6556, establishing the Army and Navy Medal of Honor roll and entitling each Medal of Honor recipient to a modest special pension of $10 per month for life. Over time, that monthly amount has gradually increased from $10 to $100 to what stands today at approximately $1,400 per month. But Madam President, let's pause and think about that. $1,400 a month for those who risked everything: their safety, their future, their very lives for freedom. For the opportunity for all of us to be here today.
In a world where medals are worn but memories fade, there remains a symbol that time cannot tarnish: the Medal of Honor. It is more than medal and ribbon. It is courage made visible, sacrifice made eternal, and love of country forged in the fire of battle. Today, we step behind the podium to hear a voice that reminds America freedom is not free, and those who fought for it deserve more than words. They deserve our gratitude, our respect, and our promise never to forget.
Madam President, I rise today to honor a very special group of Americans: the soldiers, the sailors, the Marines, and the airmen who have fought bravely for this nation, but who have received the very highest distinction that any member of the armed forces can earn: the Medal of Honor. Since 1863, presidents of the United States have awarded the Medal of Honor to more than 3,500 of the bravest men and women ever to wear the uniform of this nation. Each one has demonstrated valor, gallantry, and heroism above and beyond the call of duty, with acts so selfless, so extraordinary, that they stand as beacons of courage for future generations. In 1916, Congress passed Public Law 6556, establishing the Army and Navy Medal of Honor roll and entitling each Medal of Honor recipient to a modest special pension of $10 per month for life. Over time, that monthly amount has gradually increased from $10 to $100 to what stands today at approximately $1,400 per month. But Madam President, let's pause and think about that. $1,400 a month for those who risked everything: their safety, their future, their very lives for freedom. For the opportunity for all of us to be here today. Today, there are 61 living Medal of Honor recipients. 61 men who faced unthinkable odds, who put their country before themselves so that the rest of us could live in peace. We cannot truly ever repay them. There is no sum, there is no medal, there are no words that can measure up to their sacrifice. But there are ways that we can continue to honor them by ensuring that they are cared for, respected, and supported. Madam President, in January of this year, I introduced the Medals Act, my legislation to raise the monthly pension for Medal of Honor recipients. This legislation is a way for this nation to say, we see you, we remember you, and we will not forget what you have done. Many of these heroes spend their time traveling the country, speaking to school children, visiting military hospitals, and strengthening the very fabric of America. This monetary increase will allow them to continue those efforts and to reach more communities, mentor more veterans, and remind all of us about the cost of freedom. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize 9 Medal of Honor recipients who currently live in the Lone Star State. We honor them and we cherish them. I would also like to recognize the 139 Medal of Honor recipients who were either born in, entered the service from, or died in Texas. These are America's heroes, and they are heroes for the great state of Texas. Now, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the Medal of Honor recipients with us here in the gallery. Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson and Colonel Paris Davis. In just a moment, I will propound a unanimous consent request to take up and pass H.R. 695, the House-passed version of the Medal Act that passed the House 424-0. I urge my colleagues to join me, as our companions in the House have already done, in supporting this measure, in passing it into law, in sending it directly to the President's desk to be signed into law, and showing that when it comes to honoring our nation's very greatest heroes, we are united and we speak with one voice.
Madam President, there are moments in history when words feel too small for the weight they carry. Moments when language itself struggles to honor the people who define the meaning of courage. Today, I rise to speak for those few, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have worn this nation's uniform and gone above and beyond the call of duty. They are not just veterans, they are legends, living reminders of what it means to stand firm when everything around you is falling apart. Since 1863, the Medal of Honor has been the highest recognition America can bestow upon its sons and daughters. It is a medal not given for victory, but for virtue, for courage when hope seemed lost, and for sacrifice that no one could ever repay. More than 3,500 men and women have earned this honor. Each medal tells a story of a battlefield far from home, a split-second decision between fear and duty, and a heart that chose to fight for others. But for all their heroism, the truth is humbling. Only 61 of these extraordinary Americans are still alive today. 61 living witnesses to the cost of freedom. Their stories echo through time, from the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of Afghanistan. Stories written not in ink, but in blood, bravery, and brotherhood. And yet, Madam President, even heroes grow old. Even warriors need care, and gratitude cannot just be a speech, it must be a promise. That is why I introduced the Medals Act to raise the monthly pension for Medal of Honor recipients. It is not charity, it is honor. It is the least a grateful nation can do for those who gave us more than we could ever give back. For decades, these men have not retreated into silence. They visit schools, inspire young Americans, comfort wounded soldiers, and carry forward the stories of those who never came home. They remind us that courage does not end when the battle does. It lives on, in classrooms, in hospitals, in every handshake and salute. Think about it, a pension of roughly $1,400 a month for those who risk their very lives for the freedom we cherish. Surely, a nation that can build skyscrapers, fund wars, and reach the stars can also lift the heroes who made all of it possible. Texas, my home state, is proud to call many of these heroes its own. 9 living recipients and 139 more who were born, served, or laid to rest there. Their legacy is not bound by borders. It is the heartbeat of America itself. Today, 2 of them sit in the gallery, Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson and Colonel Paris Davis. Men whose names may not be in every textbook, but whose courage is carved into the soul of our country. Their bravery was not born from orders, but from love. Love of comrades, love of duty, love of nation. So, Madam President, I ask this chamber, let us honor them not with applause, but with action. Let us pass this bill, send it to the President's desk, and remind every veteran, every family, and every American that courage will never be forgotten. Because when the last bugle sounds, when the flag is folded, and when the silence of remembrance fills the air, the world should know that America keeps its word to its heroes. We do not forget those who went above and beyond. We remember, we honor, and we stand united, one nation, under God, forever grateful to the brave.